Another lesson which is evolving and I'm continuing to learn from all the time is that community can be seen as a gift of vulnerability. And by that I mean that when one is vulnerable, whether it's physical or psychological, one can be more open to developing or the creation of community around one. For example, one of the situations I found myself in was having a mastectomy in 1991. And I remember praying to God that I wanted to learn more about God from that experience, as well as learning how to be more open to others who were suffering or in trouble, and to be able to be more helpful because I was understanding what people were going through. Well, be careful what you ask for in your prayers, because it will come, and it may come with a loud bang. For example, this was the afternoon. I had the mastectomy in the morning. I'm coming to. I have all these tubes in my side, and my brother had left, and so I was looking forward to getting some sleep. However, there was a woman in the next bed who was talking to me and wanting to talk, and she asked me what I did for a living. I explained to her that I worked for the local affiliate of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, whereupon she said, "Oh, well, we have an 18-year-old son who was diagnosed in the last year with schizophrenia, and I have all these questions. May I ask you to answer or talk with me about some of these questions?" I said, "Oh no, God, why now? I really want to sleep." "Well, no, Nancy, pull it together." So in the next couple hours, she asked me lots of questions, which are typical for any family member who's going through the difficult time of finding that one of their family members has a serious mental illness. And we went back and forth and had a really quite amazing dialogue. And I soon forgot my tubes, I will say. But at the end of the conversation, I did get my rest, and the next morning, as she was getting ready to go home, I was very touched. She came over to the bed and said, "Nancy, I am not a Christian. In fact, I don't think I believe in God. But I do believe that God put me in the same room with you because I have learned more from you in these few hours about schizophrenia and how to work with my son than I've learned in all of our last conversations and consultations with psychiatrists and other medical personnel." That meant so much to me and still does to this day.
Great.
The second story I want to tell to show that when one is vulnerable, community can be created in ways that it might not be before, is to tell the story of going to a children's psychiatric hospital in Trevose, Pennsylvania, back when I was 21 and was just recovering from one bout of mental illness myself. By this I mean, by the vulnerability, I mean, as I showed in the one story related to being in bed and not being able to get away from the situation, same thing was here, where I was able to share with these children because I was vulnerable myself. I was in the ward with these 5-year-old children, all of whom seemed to have some serious kinds of psychiatric difficulties, even at their young ages. And the chaplain I went with was off in another room. So the children all gathered around my legs, and I'm standing there, and they're looking up at me, and one of them says, "Are you Judy's mother?" "No, I answered. "Are you Sarah's mother?" "No." "Are you John's mother?" They would begin to get impatient. "No, I'm not John's mother." Finally, one child just stomped his foot. "Well, whose mother are you?" I said, "I'm nobody's mother." Whereupon, those children, without a word, with a great whoop, jumped all over me so that I had to sit down on the floor, my back up against the wall, while they hugged my arms, my legs, my midsection. I was covered with hugging children. What a great gift. What an absolutely great gift. I said, "Thank you, God. You're telling me that because I'm nobody's mother, I'm free to be everyone's mother. Thank you, God, for the gift of community which comes out of our vulnerability.